I think they're the lowest of the low and they deserve everything they get.
Christmas Eve. Whatever your tradition is, the night before Christmas is often filled with excitement, anticipation, friends and family. However, on the 24th of December 2022, just after 11:50 p.m, Connor Chapman fired a gun multiple times outside a pub in Wallasey Village, killing Elle Edwards and injuring 5 other men.
What world do we live in where in someone's mind on Christmas Eve they think that it's justifiable for them to turn up at a pub with a machine gun and fire it into a pub full of kids, youngsters? Where does that come from? I can't work out who in the right mind thinks that that's okay. And that's just, I can't work that out. I think they're the lowest of the low and they deserve everything they get.
22-year-old Chapman was involved in an ongoing series of disputes between 2 rival gangs from the Woodchurch and Ford estates on Wirral. The 26-year-old beautician, who was an innocent bystander in the feud-fuelled shooting, was hit twice in the head and once in the shoulder. Wallasey police immediately launched a murder investigation, whilst Ellie's family released a tribute to her. In it, they said, "There was no one as beautiful as our Ellie May. Her looks, her laugh, and the way she would light up a room as soon as she walked in. She had this way about her that as soon as you met her, you just instantly fell in love with her. Everyone that met Ellie knew how special she was. Her laugh was infectious. Anyone who was around her had a good time. She loved her life and had so many amazing plans for the future. She was only just getting started. Christmas and our family will never be the same again without her. She was the glue that held this big family together from all of us." 2022 was punctured by a number of high-profile murders on Merseyside involving guns. In August, the murder of Sam Rimmer, Ashley Dale and Olivia Pratt-Corbell all took place within the space of 1 week. Whilst Wallasey police say the number of firearms discharges have dropped significantly in the past decade, however, one discharge is one too many.
We are committed to finding the persons responsible for Ellie's death and putting them behind bars. These people don't deserve to be walking our streets. They don't deserve to be protected. They belong in prison. Guns have no place on the streets of Merseyside, and we're dedicated to getting weapons off the streets.
So my advice to you is to put that gun and that knife down. Don't even think about picking it up.
Elle Edwards was, by all accounts, a beautiful, kind, happy 26-year-old who was enjoying the Christmas festivities when her life was callously cut short. Ellie was out with friends at the Lighthouse pub in Wallasey on Christmas Eve. Her brother Connor said she'd been there the previous year and had such a good time that she wanted to return. Ellie was socialising with a group outside the pub's entrance, and amongst that group were Kieran Solkeld and Jake Duffy, who were the intended targets of the shooting. Connor Chapman was involved in an ongoing series of disputes between 2 rival gangs from the Woodchurch estate, which Chapman was associated with, and Ford estate on Wirral. Before the shooting, Connor Chapman was driving a stolen Mercedes with false number plates, and he was parked in the pub car park for almost an hour. At 11:52 p.m, he got out of the vehicle and walked along the side of the building, where he then opened fire at the group using a Scorpion submachine gun.
When you pick that gun up or that knife and leave your house or wherever you are, and you go out into the street and you have that gun or that knife in your pocket, your life is over. It's over. It's as simple as that. Because you pull that trigger or put that knife into someone and you kill them, you have ended, your own life. You've ended the life of the person in front of you who's the victim. You've ended the life of their family. You've ended the life of your family. And there's the effect that has on the whole community in a wider circle just keeps going. and there's nothing good going to come out of it.
Following the shooting, Chapman drove to his friend Thomas Waring's home, where he disposed of the gun, which has still not been uncovered. 6 days after the shooting, the stolen Mercedes was burnt out in a remote area of Frodsham. After hearing police wanted to question him over a serious matter, Connor Chapman fled to North Wales. 17 days after carrying out the attack, Chapman was arrested at a Tesco in an operation involving plainclothes officers.
Connor Chapman has shown no remorse for his actions at all from the time of the murder. And this is shown when he fled to Wales, having been asked to hand himself into police, during his interviews and even during trial. He deprived a young woman of a future, and in the words of her father, just as her life was cut short, she was reaching the peak and was the happiest that he had ever seen her.
During the investigation, detectives trawled through more than 1,400 hours of CCTV evidence. Over 300 sets of communication data were applied for and reviewed. 37 searches were carried out and 30 crime scenes were examined.
We've got justice for Ellie now, thanks to the police.
On Thursday, 6th of July 2023, Connor Chapman was found guilty of the murder of Elle Edwards. Following a 16-day trial at Liverpool Crown Court, Chapman, 23, was also found guilty of attempted murder, wounding with intent to cause GBH, and possession of a firearm and ammunition with intent to endanger life. He previously pled guilty to one count of handling stolen goods in relation to the Mercedes car used on the night of the shooting. Thomas Waring, 20, was found guilty of possession of a prohibited weapon and assisting an offender in relation to the murder.
First and foremost, I would like to thank Ellie's family for the dignity that they have demonstrated right throughout the trial and the investigation process. The tragic loss of Ellie on Christmas Eve last year is something that no family should have to face. And during the trial, they've been taken back to that devastating time when their world fell apart. They've had to relive what happened all over again by seeing footage of Ellie being shot and hearing accounts provided by those who have been at the Lighthouse. And I have no doubt that that will have been horrific for them all. The result today will never bring Ellie back, and I know that this will live with them for the rest of their lives. But I hope that the conviction of Chapman will bring them some small comfort.
Connor Chapman was handed a life sentence to serve a minimum of 48 years. Chapman was jailed for 22 years for the murder and attempted murders of Ellie, Kieran and Jake, 7 years for wounding, 18 months for assault, 15 years for possession of a firearm and 3 years for stolen property. The sentence will run concurrently, totalling to 48 years. His accomplice Thomas Waring was jailed for 9 years for possession of a prohibited weapon and assisting an offender.
Without the police doing what they've done, we would still be waiting to try and catch the killer of Ellie. And that's a position I wish no one to be in, because at least now we have something to aim our anger at, and that's him.
In passing sentence, High Court Judge Justice Goose said, "What you did, Connor Chapman, was as wicked as it was shocking. You murdered Ellie, bringing an end to her life, and caused serious injury and wounded others. It's utterly shocking you carefully planned a revenge attack in a gang rivalry. You had no thought for anyone else. The risks of what you did were as high as they were obvious."
I sincerely hope that today's verdict will deter others from using guns on our streets. We need a turning point. In 2007, the murder of Rhys Jones should have been that defining moment for those who were prepared to use guns on our streets.
How can somebody think that that is okay?
The murder of Elle Edwards sent shockwaves throughout Merseyside. For many, it was the first news we woke up to on Christmas Day.
I remember waking up on Christmas Day and reporting on the story, and as I was sat there writing it, I was just thinking of all the people who were at home with their families on that day, and how Elle Edwards' family would be sat there having been given the news that their daughter had just been shot dead. And that kind of really struck me. There's something about when everyone's together with their family, it kind of, you look around the room and you see the faces of your family and you think, wow, you know, because she was a completely innocent bystander, that could have been anyone. That could have been anyone in this room. And I think that kind of struck a chord with everyone. Con Chapman was targeting 2 people from a rival gang, and he'd pre-planned and plotted this attack on Christmas Eve outside a packed pub where there was hundreds of innocent bystanders.
Merseyside Police and its partners have been working together to develop a new approach to crime prevention. In November 2022, Chief Constable of Merseyside Police, Serena Kennedy, spoke to us about how the force is making it a priority to address the root causes of harm in our communities.
It will always be a priority for my staff to use their powers to arrest people, to put them through the criminal justice system where it's appropriate. But if we don't start to focus on prevention, get upstream of the demand before people even become victims, before people become offenders, we are never going to arrest a way out of this problem.
Merseyside's Police and Crime Commissioner Emily Sporrell has been vocal about needing the community's support in ending the no-grass culture, especially when it comes to gun crime. There are anonymous ways you can help your own communities, and in doing so, you could play a vital role in preventing further tragedies.
In circumstances such as a murder, or if there's, you know, in your community there's something that's not right, then you need to do something about it.
Despite Merseyside experiencing its lowest rate of firearms discharges for more than 2 decades, the region's police force has admitted it still has a way to go to improve. One life taken by gun crime in this city is one too many.